Okay, so welcome back. Today we start polynomials. Okay, so we're now going to start putting everything together. We're going to introduce the vocabulary and definitions that surround polynomials. So let's start with the idea of a term. So a term is a product of a number and one or more variables. That's what we call a term of a polynomial. The coefficient is the numerical part of a term. So the number part of a term we call the coefficient. Like terms are any terms that have the same variables, so either one or more variables, and each variable has the same exponents. Okay? So they match by variable and exponent. Okay? The coefficients can be different, but those are what we call like terms. A polynomial, by definition, is a term or finite sum of terms with only positive or zero integer exponents permitted on the variables. Okay? So again, it's a term or finite sum of terms with only positive or zero integer exponents on the variables. Okay? Now, a polynomial x, we use that phrase, if a polynomial only has x variables, we say, hey, that's a polynomial in x. If it has y variables and just y variables, we say it's a polynomial in y, and so on. But typically it's x. Okay? Now, also, we want to talk about the degree of a polynomial. So the degree of a polynomial is determined by the term that has the largest exponent. Or if there's more than one variable in a term, the sum of the exponents. So if we look at degree of a term is the variable is the exponent on the variable. Okay? And in the polynomial, we look for the term that has the greatest degree, and then that's going to be the degree of the polynomial. Okay? And then we also have naming structures too. So if we look at the degree of a term, this is the so this is determined by the exponent on the variable. And then, like I said, the degree of the polynomial that is determined by the largest exponent of the terms, right? So the term with the largest degree determines the degree of the polynomial. And then how do we name polynomials? Well, we name polynomials based on how many terms there are. So if we have one term, we call it a monomial. If it has two terms, we call it a binomial. And you might guess that if it has 3 terms, we call it a trinomial. And so, any more than that, we would call it a polynomial, right? So, again, but these are polynomials too. Poly just means more, right? So it's many. So polynomials are divided more than this. I mean, trinomial is typically the highest we go when we're naming. But again, that's what we call it. Okay. Anything else that I want to add? No, that's it. Okay. That's it. I'll see you next time, and we'll start doing some examples.